All right, so in today's episode, I take you guys to the Petro truck stop. All right, let me get you here first. All right, so I'm here at Shakespeare Ghost Town. It claims the West's most authentic ghost town. However, it is privately owned and not one that you can just kind of walk around freely. They offer tours 3 times a day, so I got here a little bit early. We'll be waiting on the tour at 3 o'clock, and I'll take you guys through there. I already asked him if I could film and everything, and he said it's fine. Just a couple spots he doesn't like people to film, which is fine. And then the rest of it we can check out together. And then this place should be in like really, really good shape, right? Because it's well attended, so.
Jana Lou got her love of dance from her mother Rita. Her mother Rita was in Hollywood in the 1920s during silent films and then became a school teacher. Now when she met and married Frank and Jana Lou was born, she would homeschool Jana Lou because she was a teacher.
That's insane that she would have lived in here for 3 months.
So this is the Grant House Saloon, and this saloon was added on to the stage station during the first mining boom as a way for John Evanston, the stagekeeper, to make extra money from the stagecoach passengers. And they say the boys in here...
Guys, when I tell you that this place was so cool and the personalized history and the details that you get on the tour are phenomenal. And I didn't want to have my camera in the guy's face the entire time. I also don't want to give away the entire tour. But there's a couple things that I do want to talk about that like really, really stood out to me, right? So one, the town, right, at one point had 3,000 miners, 16 different saloons, and no sheriff, which absolutely true. So you can imagine, right, with the kind of fights and brawls and things that they had there. Everything was always done vigilante justice. Another one of the stories that we were told was they simultaneously hanged 2 guys. One was a horse thief and one was a nuisance. They hung him for being a nuisance. And they hung them at the same time specifically because nobody felt like digging a grave. Like, there's a lot of rock and stuff. It's a mountain. There's a lot of rocks. It's hard to get through. And they didn't want to dig an extra grave. They wanted to dig one. So they just decided to hang both of those guys at the same time, which was absolutely insane. It's just so cool that they knew all of that kind of levels of the history. And then the guy that's there, their families owned it for almost 100 years. So there's like a lot of personalized family history there. Like, the grandma going out in that little shack and holding off I-10 as long as she could with a gun while living in the shack. I mean, that's absolutely like just one of the cool little details that you get from there. As well as the mom, the matriarch of the family, like having that dance studio, right? And making those outfits and everything like that. So just something that was really, really cool to explore and get those next level, like personalized details of. And I do highly recommend the tour. It was funny though, when I told the guy that I was a YouTuber, he was like, that's awesome. Try not to send too many people because like he needs people to go because they use the funds to keep the town going. That it's actually really cool because they're self-sustained. So through the tours, they keep rebuilding the houses or fixing what they need to on the buildings to keep the town available for people to come tour. But he's also the only one out there fixing stuff up. So he's like, I want to be busy, but not too busy, right? Like I need the opportunity to still be able to work on the buildings because that's his really next project. So yeah, it was really cool to learn, like see some of the old buildings with the cloth ceiling. I didn't know that they did that back then. Like I didn't know that that was a thing. I didn't know that they had cloth ceilings. I didn't know that the furniture was specifically camp furniture. Like he showed us the way that the table disassembles. And it just comes apart. It's like Lincoln logs, and they did that so they could throw it on the wagon and go to the next area, which like I didn't think about, but it totally makes sense, right? Because these miners, they moved so much. They were chasing gold, literally. So they moved so much that even the tables and stuff like that, you just packed up and moved. A lot of the houses still had dirt floors and things like that. Just really, really neat and worth checking out if you guys are down in the Boot Heel of New Mexico.
6-piece set that's sitting around in this room. It's the original furniture from when the Marbles ran the hotel.
That is amazing.
And you're welcome to look in the other room as well. The framing work in the back room was done by my father-in-law Manny to stabilize the back.
So these are the girls, the family ran the hotel?
Mm-hmm. Yep, from 1882 to about 1899, I think they ran the hotel.
Wow.
Actually, I don't think they started actually running the hotel until about 1885. If you look up, you can see the dirt still on the roof, what's left of the original roof. The owls love this building as well because of that big hole up there. They are civilized birds. They do eat at the table in the next room, but they do everything at the table in the next room.
So dirt floors, right? Original.
Yep, always had dirt floors, this building. And shutters.
Wow.
I've never seen a picture of this building with actual windows. It always had shutters.
Yeah.
He rebuilt this building as this block and tackle here was gotten out of one of the mines. The blocks were destroyed and the rope was gone. Him and a friend spent 3 years rebuilding this.
Wow.
And his last project in here, directly behind him, this is his giant bear trap. It looks like a dinosaur trap, but he made the entire thing in that stone forge over there. And by using traditional black. Yeah. Well, you know, we've had here, a lot of the donation stuff, like, we don't have any big trees for the big saws. We don't need, log carriers or anything like that because there's no tall trees around here. But it's neat stuff that you'd have during the time, So it's still from the same.
All right, so this place is absolutely phenomenal, and I very highly do recommend getting the tour and coming out here. They only do tours, by the way. They only do tours at like 10, 12, and 3. You can't access it at any other time. But I tried to basically capture the gist of it and get interior shots of the buildings and everything for you guys without necessarily disrupting the tour or sharing too much of the tour, because I do want you guys to come out and get the tour itself. But basically, I'm walking up and down Main Street right now, and these are all of the buildings that we went to. So it's really cool because there's that's a saloon, and it was a legitimate saloon. This is the building where the nooses were, where they actually used to hang people in there. They actually hung 2 guys at the same time, he was saying, which is pretty crazy. I'm gonna go visit their grave right after this. And then this right here was the hotel. And we couldn't go upstairs, but he was saying that people used to share 3-4 people to a bed, because back in the 1800s, you couldn't really get a hotel room in a place like this without having to share it. And Main Street used to go a lot further down and further up in this town. Just not anymore. Over the years, of course, things change, but this was a really, really cool place. That building down there was the old Army mail depot. So he was saying even with 3,000 people, this place never had an actual post office, only ever an Army depot for the mail. So yeah, very, very cool. Definitely worth coming to check out. And they have done a phenomenal job preserving a bunch of the history. And even right here, so this section right here that we're looking at used to be a railroad that used to come through from Lordsburg and come through. But yeah, they have done a really, really good job trying to preserve the town. So at the cemetery now, this is actually the Shakespeare Cemetery, but Lordsburg uses it. So it's actually really big, and I think the odds of me finding that one specific gravestone are more than likely, they're going to be pretty small. But anyway, the story of it is that they hung both of those guys and then buried them together. They didn't even have a gravestone, but somebody felt bad and then decided to buy one. And yeah, they hung one because he was a horse thief, and then one was a nuisance. So I am looking around and trying to find the older, what I think would be the older area. I have a picture of what it looks like. So, but there's a, I mean, this is a, it's a huge cemetery. It might be back here. This is a huge cemetery. And the guy said it's kind of in the middle towards the back, which is where I'm heading. And this does seem like the older area here. There's like some wooden crosses. There's a lot of old like iron crosses and stuff like that too, which probably legitimately is from Shakespeare, the Ghost Town, you know? That's a pretty crazy one. There's a lot of like white iron crosses too, which I know I've seen those used for miners before as well. Yeah, you know, in the middle towards the back, it could be a lot of places out here. And I'm definitely in the older section right now. A lot of wooden crosses and old iron crosses and stuff like that. But I don't know exactly where to go to find it. I do want to see it. I think that it would be cool. Actually, there's some iron ones over here. They kind of look like that style from the picture that I saw. These ones always make me sad because it's born 1934, died 1935 on that. Just a kid, man. This is an interesting cemetery because it's like, it's a mix of old and new. And then, yeah, I bet you there's like bodies buried on top of bodies and stuff like that in this cemetery. Let's see, maybe one of these is it. Yeah, I have no idea where it's at, but that's okay. I know, so I apologize guys, I know that I didn't get enough of the history that the tour guide was giving while I was in there filming. Like, it's kind of awkward to point your camera at somebody. He said, yeah, you can film, but it is kind of weird to just start filming some dude while he's giving a tour doing his job. But it's really, really cool. And I do definitely think if you're in the New Mexico area and you guys want a cool ghost town tour, that Shakespeare Ghost Town is worth it. And it's really cool because it's like 90, what did he say, 91 years of their family owning the land, right? So you get a lot of their personal history, like the grandma, that shack. So they moved the shack now actually, but they built that shack in the middle of where I-10 was gonna go through their land. And she stayed in the shack with a gun for 3 months fighting I-10 going through. And it's like, it's so hardcore. Check out how cool this teepee is. It's got a cool Zia symbol right there, but also this sunset is beautiful. I've got a couple of things to explore right here. You guys are actually getting like 2 ghost towns basically in one video. But yeah, this thing is pretty cool. I'm gonna go check out a couple things down there. I'm gonna miss this sunset tonight, which is unfortunate. I'm gonna be driving, but that looks insane. That looks beautiful right now. There's a couple of these like cool little cars out here right now. So these guys are closed right now, but look, this says just married. And then it's a couple skeletons in here. Oh, you guys can't see it? It's hilarious. And then you got somebody else driving. That's pretty cool though. This right here is really like the big reason why I stopped though. There's a couple outcroppings of buildings. And so this used to be a gas station, it looks like. Used to be a gas station, and then whatever. But see, there's a building back there too. So I just really wanted to check all this stuff out. And then it's so crazy because you can see, obviously there was a fire, but like the electrical, that is an absolute trip and a half to me when you can see that stuff. But look at how, this is such a cool and unique view. I mean, that right there is beautiful. So yeah, and then there's this one right here. Let's go in here and check this one out. I'm glad I almost bypassed this, and I was like, no, you're not going to be down here again for a long time. Stop and check it out. And it's interesting. There's a table. That's kind of weird. I don't know why there would be a table blocking off that area. And then there's like, watch. Let's see what the heck they were doing. Because they have this all roped off. There's like rope. I don't really understand. I don't really understand what's happening, but this is more of a, whoa. This is more of a classic What's Up with James exploration, as opposed to earlier, right? A guided tour of like a ghost town that they're trying to preserve, as opposed to something that has been completely left to rot. Yeah, this house, this thing is wild, man. Is this an old water heater right here? That is crazy. Let's see from this side, yeah. There's a bucket inside the shower. I'm guessing this would have been the bathroom. Weird. Very strange. Very strange building. Yeah, see, and we've got a collapsed one there. And then one over here. It's really weird though. There's, watch, I'll show you guys when we get back to that spot really quickly. Huh. That house is actually back behind the fence, but there's like the water tower for whatever I guess this area was. And there is, watch, look at this. There's nothing running, I don't think, but the meter is still on. Maybe because of the radio tower right there? I mean, I guess theoretically that's attached. Huh. Yeah, it's attached to the electric, and then there's that. And I wonder if that was the electric for this whole little area back in the day. But yeah, look at this, because I think that this was an RV park. There's electric hookups, there's water hookups, and then these are numbered. So the funny thing is, this probably would be a fun place to stay, but I've got a different plan tonight. And guys, I'm so far from home tonight. I'm trying to get at least a little bit closer. Otherwise, I would stay here, and this would be like a perfect one for the video or for my style video. But I'm just trying to get a little bit closer to home. But I saw that and I had to turn around and check it out because it's so cool. So I chose this Petro for two reasons. One, there's gonna be a bathroom. Two, there's a Starbucks so I don't have to make coffee in the morning. Three, I wanted to be closer to home and not drive quite as far. And four, I'm absolutely starving, so I wasn't gonna drive any further. Guys, I am so hungry. I'm not even kidding. So I have not eaten since like 12 o'clock yesterday afternoon. It's 7 o'clock today. So that's, what is that, 30 hours or something, 30-hour fast. Unintentional, but I've just been driving all day. Like I've been driving or doing the ghost towns all day. This is way down south. So Shakespeare Ghost Town is worth seeing. You have to overnight somewhere. Realistically, honestly, I wish I had 2 days for this trip. If I'm going to come back down here, I kind of want to plan 2 days. There's another place I want to come to that's down in this area, but I want to plan for 2 days. So a 2-day weekend or something like that, because it's a long drive and you get sick of it and it's tiring. So that's why I was trying to drive back today, to kill at least a little bit of that mileage for tomorrow, because tomorrow I still have to get home. We still have errands to run. We still have chores to do. And then I got to get ready for work. So I'm going to leave here pretty early on tomorrow morning and get home. So that's why I'm staying at a Petro, but also practice, because realistically, there's going to be nights like this. If you go full time in an RV, which is my ultimate goal, right, is to go full time and live full time out of this thing. There's going to be nights like this where you're at the Petro. It is what it is. So you got to get used to navigating around all the trucks and being here and everything like that. Plus, realistically, the resources inside are great. You have a bathroom. I could shower tonight if I wanted to, if I wanted to pay for a shower. I'm not gonna. I didn't bring anything to shower with. But you could shower here tonight. There's a restaurant, there's a Starbucks, there's a convenience store, there's gas. So this is a good stop and layover for the trip, you know what I mean? But I cannot wait for this food to get done. I forgot a pillow. Yeah, so not a joke, I forgot a pillow. I'm gonna run inside. They may have one here. And honestly, I'm kind of hoping they have some Tupperware too, because I made a ridiculous amount of food and I don't know what to do with it now. I can't eat it all. The ground beef was full fat, and like the full fat with the ground beef and the cheese, I was unbelievably full pretty quick, surprising for how hungry I was. But yeah, let's go see if they have a pillow, hopefully, and maybe some Tupperware inside this truck stop. All right, so we got blankets and a mini mattress, but no pillows, I don't think. All right, so I found this $30 pillow. Now we gotta try to find some plastic wrap or something. All right, so I did find a pillow, $30 freaking, but it's gonna just live in the RV now, so I'll never forget a pillow again because it'll just be in there. And I also got some Ziploc bags that will also live in the RV just in case I make too much food. Even the lady at the register was like, $30. I was like, I know. It'll teach me a lesson though. I still have to get up and turn the camera off. Good night, guys. Yeah, can I do a venti pistachio protein latte? Maybe. Hot, please.
Protein, or do you want the full protein?
Just the milk protein, I guess, right? All right. Yeah, that's going to be it for the video, guys. I'm going to be heading home. These videos that are like really long driving trips are why I can't wait to like have an opportunity to go full time, because since I'm down here, there's other stuff I'd like to do and other stuff I'd like to see, but I just got to get home. So I really appreciate you guys watching the videos, liking the videos. Really thank you, my Patreon supporters, because these are also expensive and you guys really help offset that cost. So it's massive to me. It's huge. Thank you guys very, very much. And I will see you guys next week for a very, very exciting, fun one. I'm driving and there's bugs on the windshield, but I'm like, oh no, I'm missing a beautiful, beautiful sunrise. I started driving too dang early. I should have tried to, well, there was nowhere at the truck stop that I could have really captured that, but this is beautiful. And then out here, I was just passing by like farms and cows, and it was really, really cool. Just, you know, that's the beauty of America in a nutshell.